Okay, so we saw the Wolfman, and surprise, surprise, it was actually pretty good. I enjoyed this film. I feel as though a lot of people are going into this thinking it's going to be a 2025 shot for shot remake of the Benicio del Toro one. I will, in all honesty, say that the Benicio del Toro Wolfman film is still better than this film, but this film is still pretty good. The issue is when you really, really think about it, we've seen this film before. And before we even talk about that, I actually want to talk about the design because the initial design right here, um, this did not do the movie any justice. And what I mean by that is, if you remember from a few months before The Dark Knight came out, there were leaked photos of Heath Ledger's Joker. And outside of context and outside of the world that the character is supposed to exist in, it looks and kind of goofy. And a lot of people kind of harped on it for being like really, really bad fake clown stuff. And then you saw his character as a part of the world, and you were like, oh no, his character 100% completely fits. For the Wolfman design, that feeling is there in regards to this photo. In regards to this photo, you're like, good God, this photo is freaking horrible, and it makes him look horrible. And then you see the creature in the film itself, and it completely fits with the environment that they essentially set up. And it's a fantastic environment. I feel as though everybody did great in this movie, and you know me, I like to pull up the cast in case I miss anybody's names, just to give everyone their justifiable shout out. Christopher Abbott, good job. There's really only three people in this film that you need to remember. Julia Garner, who plays Charlotte the wife, Christopher Abbott, who plays the husband Blake, and Matilda Firth, who plays Ginger the daughter. All of them are solid, each and every one of them. This entire film revolves around these three characters having really, really, really great chemistry, and that is exactly what they have. Julia Garner does a fantastic. It's one of those situations where I was afraid, especially from the trailer, that Julia Garner's character was suddenly going to become the uber badass, kind of like if Ripley skipped over the first Alien film and jumped right into Aliens towards the end, and you're like, well, where was your character growth to arrive at this destination? No, that was not the case at all. She is a terrified mother trying to survive and save her child throughout the entire film. Um, Christopher Abbott plays the father who's losing his humanity, but he's trying to maintain just something, a piece of him left, and he's kind of latched that onto his daughter, where his daughter is essentially the driving force that is keeping him human and fighting against giving into the monster. Even towards the end of the film, he's still like ripping and clawing and trying to basically just hold on long enough to maybe save his family, or if not save his family, give his wife the shot to basically put him down so that they're not injured in any way, shape, or form. Matilda Firth does a fantastic job as the daughter. If you needed a child that really does well showing the amount of trauma she is going through, and then also having to connect with her father on like a super deep level, good job. Fantastic job between all three of them. The chemistry was there. The story itself, I said before, you've seen this before. If you're not really a horror buff, I feel as though you can go into this film and you can honestly enjoy it. It's going to keep you on the edge of your seat because the pacing is like this. There really isn't any downtime. It's always trying to keep you on the edge of your seat by having the next just dangerous, super tense thing occur. And what I mean by that is it's kind of like stages. You introduce to the characters, 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes in, shit hits the fan. The character introduced is instantaneously ripped away, and that person is now dead. The creature is now actively hunting and stalking them. He's transforming. He's sensing and smelling new things. He's feeling new rages. He's lost the ability to speak. He's slowly transforming. Now, Here's where we get into where I say there are similarities. I was trying to pair this film with the Benicio del Toro one from like a decade ago because that one's fantastic. I was doing that wrong. I should have been pairing this film to oh my god, what is his name? I see him. He's the Grandmaster. He was in Jurassic Park. Jeff Goldblum. I was trying to pair. It is better to pair this film to Jeff Goldblum's The Fly, the first one, than The Wolfman. And what I mean by that is there's a lot of the same themes that both of the characters essentially go through. Um, Jeff Goldblum's case, his anchor was the woman he fell in love with. In this film's case, the anchor is the daughter. That that person that basically is the tether to the last bit of that individual's humanity. um the transformations is very much body horror, where the hair starts to fall out, the pupils start to change, the voice box changes, claws begin to form on the hands, physical deformities begin to occur, the back gets hunched over, the jaw dislocation becomes a little bit longer, and now there are fangs there. That fits in with the theme that you see in The Fly in regards to Jeff Goldblum's character as he transforms more and more into the monster. And then, of course, once the monster is finally there, there's rage as it's basically trying to kill, but at the exact same time, there's a level of human cunning that exists there. There's a scene where he's essentially trapped and he wants to go after the wife and kid to basically kill him, and he makes the decision to basically lean into his inner animal and just whoop off his leg, and then continues to pursue them, dragging himself across the forest floor in an attempt to continue hunting them. That very much leans into when Jeff Goldblum's character was basically caught up and he was going to die, and he was like, "Huh, but I'm a freaking fly and I can do this," and he vomits on the guy's hand and dissolves his hand completely so that he can get out of the situation he's basically stuck in. The ending is also pretty much one for one with The Fly, where both of them, after exhausting all of that rage and exhausting all of that animal instinct, the final piece of them that is human is like, please just kill me, dog. Just put me out of my misery. Like, get me up out of here, please. And then the person that they love the most is the one who basically, or should I say, the person who loves them the most is the one who basically puts them out of their misery. Uh, are there pacing issues? Yes. Like I said, there really isn't any downtime. This happens. I feel like this happens over one night, but I remember a transition into the day. Like the night cycle is where he had the fever, and then he falls asleep and wakes up the next day, and she's trying to work on the box. Then he goes back upstairs, and then the film concludes that following night. I feel as though it would have been better if we explored the woods a little bit more. The idea that all the hunters up in these woods know that these wolfmen exist essentially, and they've been actively hunting them and charting them to know where they are, and teaming up with each other to basically kill them. But it doesn't seem as though that works out in their favor because it, like we discover in the film, the grandfather, kind of just walks off into the forests one day, and when he comes back, he's a wolfman. Are there more wolfmen in the forest? We definitely see a older one. Um, I want to say the design that we see here, which is this design right here, is shown to us really, really early on in the film. Because I feel like the granddad doesn't look like this when he comes back, but at the exact same time, the physical features for what they evolved into kind of lead them to this nebulous area. But I have a feeling that this right here is the first one that we see when the dad's essentially a kid. And then there's the version of the pops, and then there's basically the version of our main character as well, Blake. But I like the film. It was good. It was solid. Like I said, it wasn't the best. I still think that Benicio del Toro's Wolfman movie with Anthony Hopkins is 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 top tier. That is the definitive Wolfman movie, and I can see where a lot of people were trying to argue with me before, and I've come around to agree with them. This idea that I need to start separating Wolfman from werewolves, which I need to start looking at them as two completely distinct mythical creatures, where werewolves have more of a wolf form and wolfmen are basically uh they can have wolf-like features such as Benicio del Toro's, but at the exact same time it can just be something along the lines of like a disease or curse that gives them wolf-like features leaning more towards, let's say, a Wendigo. Once I started thinking about that in my head, I was like, yeah, no, I can accept that. I can accept wolfmen being a completely different mythological creature from werewolves. But I enjoyed this film. It was pretty good. The next werewolf movie we're watching is literally called Werewolves. We're probably gonna have that up, if not later on today, then sometime tomorrow. But let me know what you guys think. If you saw the 2025 Wolfman film, super. Is this the last thing Julia Garner is going to be working on before Fantastic Four? Uh, Yes. The next thing that's coming out that she's doing is Fantastic Four. So that's gonna be super dope. I've loved her since Ozark, and I liked her in this as like that wife that has everything just running uniform, and then everything spirals into chaos because of your husband's ancient family bullshit. Completely enjoyable. But let me know what you guys think about Wolfman. My hand just got caught up in a bunch of stuff. But let me know what you think about the recent Wolfman film. Comment down below, and I'll catch you in the next one.